What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and it looks like we're going to be talking about Britney Spears today. I know a lot of you all are excited about that. It's funny because I get so many messages about people wanting me to make more and more and more Britney videos. And then I even see the Yas Queens, people who absolutely hate my guts. And I see the conversations they have online, and they often question, well, why isn't Cinema Shogun making as many Britney videos by now? Because the reality is, even people who totally disagree with what I say here, even people who don't like me or like what I say about Britney Spears, they can't help but tune in. Because I'm going to say things that other people are not willing to say. And I don't mean that by I don't come online on YouTube, on Twitter. By the way, follow me on Twitter. I don't come on social media and just say things for shock value. I come on social media and I say things that everyone else is thinking. They're just afraid to talk about it. But in this video, it's going to be a little different because for the first time, it seems like, we're not talking about any of Britney's crazy little weird antics. And in fact, today, we will be talking about Britney's dad, because I'm sure all of you all know this by now. I know most of you all know all about this. Britney's dad has now spoken out about the conservatorship. He's been really quiet for a long, long time. And now he finally sat down and did an interview. And I gotta say, right off the bat, I don't disagree with a lot of what he says. For one, he just came out just right away and says that without his help, Britney might be dead. And that's something that I have to agree with. I don't like conservatorships. I don't like some of what happened to Britney during the conservatorship. I don't like how people were there taking advantage of her financially and in other ways. But something had to be done. I'm not going to sit here and say that I have the answers. But Britney, like he said, would probably be dead right now if someone didn't step in. But not just that. Even if Britney somehow managed to make it, Britney would be dead broke. Britney was running through her money back then like crazy. When Jamie Lynn came over, or when Jamie came in and took over, how can I put it? It's a tough, difficult situation because there's so many things about the conservatorship I disagree with, but there's no denying the fact that he got some of her finances in order. Now, of course, a lot of people came in and they started taking their money off the top. And everyone was getting a cut. But Britney would have been dead broke right now. I would probably be worth more than Britney Spears right now if something wasn't done at the time. Her bank account was dwindling. Her mental health was dwindling. But let's just go ahead and hop right into this article. I'm going to try to skim over some portions that we already know about, but I definitely want to focus on what Jamie has to say. Without my help, Britney might be dead. His words will infuriate the legions of Britney Spears fans who campaigned for her freedom. But speaking for the first time, her father Jamie insists that the controversial 13-year conservatorship saved her. Talking to, oh man. All right, let's go. Posing provocatively in no more than a red pair of bikini bottoms, Britney Spears told her 41.6 million Instagram followers last week that expressing my freedom has never felt better. It is, after all, a little over a year since the singer was finally released from a controversial 13-year conservatorship in which her father, Jamie, was handed power over her personal and financial life. the extraordinary situation unprecedented, given it involved one of the most famous faces in the world, ultimately saw Jamie cascaded by millions of her fans. The Free Britney movement, which emerged online and drew celebrity support from Madonna, Paris Hilton, and Miley Cyrus, accused Jamie of holding his daughter in a mental health facility against her will, allegedly bugging her phones and controlling every aspect of her existence. Jamie, for the most part, remained tight-lipped, speaking only to dismiss the campaign as a joke which was run by conspiracy theorists. Hey, oh boy. That's all I'm saying. Jamie says that the Free Britney movement was a joke, that it's a complete joke. Not that it is a joke, but it's a complete joke that was started and run by conspiracy theorists. He's not necessarily wrong. I'll just call it what it is. He's not necessarily wrong. The Free Britney movement, it's so tough speaking on it because there are so many good people in that movement that really had Britney's best interest at heart. They felt like they were doing the right thing, but in reality, I feel like it was an inorganic movement. And yeah, there's definitely a bunch of conspiracy theorists in there. But the worst part for me is the Free Britney movement was all about all of these crazy off-the-wall conspiracies about Britney. Now, when I say conspiracies, I don't mean that they aren't true. I'm just saying they're conspiracies. You can consider me a conspiracy theorist myself. In fact, the word conspiracy is a conspiracy itself. I challenge all of you to Google. Hopefully Google will actually give you the real answer. Who knows anymore? Google where the word conspiracy theory came from. It was created to discredit people. Google it. That's a conversation for another day. The Britney Spears movement, the Free Britney movement, it was full of all of these wild conspiracies about all of these terrible things that must be happening to Britney. But then, with a snap of a finger, 2 days after Britney was supposedly freed, all of these people pretended like all the conspiracies went away. Britney never started acting different. In fact, things got even weirder. Britney's team, still the whole entire same team around her. Nothing changed other than the court made you think, oh, Britney's free now, everyone. And guess what? Britney's free. Nothing has changed. Yet all of these people who were spreading these conspiracies, now they attack people who have their own theories about Britney. So they went, and I mean with the snap of a finger, they went from creating these wild conspiracies about Britney, a lot of which weren't true. Most of what you heard about this conservatorship is not true. And I'm not trying to be mean or harsh, but that's just the facts. A lot of what you heard about Britney's conservatorship is not true. And I came in totally non-biased to this situation. I'm a non-biased person, and especially with this story. I didn't come in as someone who hated Britney Spears, and I didn't come in as someone who's head over heels in love with Britney Spears. Britney Spears is just a celebrity that I was nostalgic for back in the day. Britney Spears isn't part of my playlist, none of that. So I came to the situation with a non-biased perspective. And after looking into it for months, I came to the conclusion, and it's just the facts, that the conservatorship is not what you thought the conservatorship was. I'm not saying the conservatorship was good, but all of this acting as if Britney wasn't allowed to do this, and she wasn't allowed to do that, and Britney couldn't leave the house, and Britney couldn't go out with her friends, all of that is a lie. In fact, half the stuff Britney complains about, like, I wasn't able to go here with my friends, and I didn't go to get coffee. I've never been to Jack in the Box. All of that stuff is bogus lies, and it's provable because you can go on Google and find pictures of her doing these things during the conservatorship while she simultaneously lies to you on Instagram and tells you that her life was so bad. Now, I'm not trying to say that Jamie is a good person. I'm not trying to defend Jamie, but I have a hard time believing that Jamie was the shot caller in this situation. I don't believe that Jamie was the main shot caller in this situation. If anything, I could guarantee you that Jamie was getting orders from people in Hollywood. All this stuff going on with Britney, it has Hollywood all over it. Not Jamie, not some dude from Louisiana. It has Hollywood all over it. Sure, Jamie took the fall. Jamie will be the scapegoat. Jamie will be the face of the conservatorship. And that's who you'll view as your villain. But the real villains, and I'm not saying that Jamie's a good guy. The real villains, the real people pulling the strings, they're in the background. The puppet masters, they're in the background. Jamie taking this fall and you thinking everything's over with this conservatorship, it was all a bunch of nonsense. They pushed the family out, and now they have full control over Britney. So if anything, even though I don't agree with Jamie, I don't like Jamie, I don't like a lot of the stuff Jamie did, at the end of the day, I can guarantee you, Jamie isn't half as bad as the other people who are behind the scenes. And they're still there. But let's go ahead and go forward because I don't want this video to turn into a 2-hour-long video. Today, in an exclusive interview with the Mail, the Daily Mail, his first for more than a decade, the 70-year-old has chosen to speak more candidly to defend himself and the court order, claiming it is the only reason his daughter is alive today. It was, he claims, a necessary intervention which not only saved Britney from her darkest days, but rescued her fragile relationship with her kids, Preston, 17, and 16-year-old Jaden, whom she shares with her ex-husband, Kevin Federline. These were difficult times, Jamie admits, warning he isn't going to paint no pretty pictures of the family struggles. But the decisions, he insists, were the right ones, even if they came at the expense of his relationship with his daughter. Not everybody's going to agree with me, Jamie shrugs. It's been one hell of a time, but I love my daughter with all my heart and soul. Where would Britney be right now without that conservatorship? I don't know if she'd be alive. I don't. For protecting her and also protecting the kids, conservatorship was a great tool. Without it, I don't think she would have gotten the kids back. Of course, as Jamie speaks today, the truth is that a sizable distance has built up between him and Britney. The past 3 years since the Free Britney movement campaign began to gain traction and a series of behind-the-closed-doors court hearings took place to dissolve the conservatorship have taken an immense toll on Jamie. Jamie, who has gone through major health problems, now lives with his other daughter, Britney's younger sister, Jamie Lynn, in rural Louisiana. This is not far from where Britney was born, where he grew up, and where he enjoyed his glory days as the star quarterback on the local football team. It's a delicate situation. Jamie has to be careful what he says in order to protect his daughter from any more heartache that could affect her well-being. She is already attracting a degree of notoriety with colorful, sometimes, all the times, semi-naked social media posts. And he doesn't want to send her further back down the hole, as he puts it. I miss my 2 boys really, really bad, he acknowledges. You know, we were very, very close. They were around that age where you could start having a good time with them. But they were developing a mind of their own. God makes things happen for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but it's been a tough 3 years without them. The family's a mess. All we can do is keep praying. But such strife is far from a recent development when it comes to the Spears family. Nor is Jamie a blameless victim in this domestic saga. For despite Britney's astonishing success, her childhood in Kentwood, Louisiana, was plagued with drama, much of it caused by Jamie's problems with alcohol. Peculiar to U.S. law, a conservatorship is granted by a court for individuals who are deemed unable to make their own decisions. Usually, they are used for people with dementia or other mental illnesses. In Britney's case, it was split into two parts. One covering her estate and financial affairs, which concerned decisions about her career and finances, and the other affecting personal matters such as access to her kids and decisions about marriage. Jamie was appointed to control both parts, and in exchange, he was paid a reported $16,000 a month. In recent court filings, Jamie's lawyers said the conservatorship was necessary to protect Britney in every sense of the word. They said her life was in shambles and she was in physical, emotional, mental, and financial distress. It was also, Jamie maintains, to protect the boys, then just toddlers. While Federline was initially granted full custody of his sons, the courts allowed Jamie and Kevin to work out how best to give them access to their mother. And they did, with Britney getting 50% of physical, although not legal, custody. Britney's social media post around this time described the arrangements as like being in prison. But Jamie insists they were some good times, including family holidays the kids enjoyed with their mother. We could take the kids to Europe. They didn't miss time with their mom. They didn't miss time with their dad. Not many people knew that. The main purpose was to get Britney back with her kids in a comfortable relationship. We did everything in the world for them. I want to pause right here for a moment because people seem to totally dismiss this. And even I have shied away from this a little bit, and I haven't been blunt enough while talking about it. At one point, back in the day, law enforcement showed up to Britney Spears' house to get Britney Spears' kids from her. She locked herself in a bathroom and filled up the bathtub as if she was going to drown her own child. Okay? I'm tired of shying away from it. Let's talk about it. Let's actually have this conversation right here, right now. You all know what I'm talking about. Law enforcement showed up to Britney's house. She barricaded herself in the bathroom with one of her kids. And it looked like she was maybe going to kill that child. That's what was happening with Britney. When they finally got Britney out of the bathroom, she ran around butt naked, running around the SWAT team members, holding her vagina while yelling out obscenities in a British accent. That's the reality of the situation. It looked as if Britney was about to take one of her child's life in the bathtub. So that's why Jamie's talking about how hard it would have been for Britney to get these kids back. I'm tired of shying away from it. That's the reality of what happened. Was Britney going to kill him? I don't know. Did she? No. But she was filling up the bathtub as if she was going to do something crazy to one of her own kids. And that's when a lot of this stuff went off the deep end. It's not just the shaving her head and walking around doing crazy stuff in the street. No, it seemed as if she barely killed her own child. And that's why all of this stuff started coming into play. Okay? That's the reality of the situation that everyone wants to shy away from. I'm tired of it. Let's talk about it. Britney damn near killed one of her kids, and that's why all of this stuff started happening to Britney. Let's go forward. We could take the kids to Europe. They didn't miss time with their mother. They didn't miss time with their dad. Not many people knew that. The main purpose was to get Britney back with her kids in a comfortable relationship. We did everything in the world with them. Jamie or Kevin were always present with Britney. No, Jamie or Kevin were always present when Britney spent time with her kids. I wonder why. And it was the two men who collectively made decisions on their behalf. My relationship with Kevin gave them a sense of peace and protection, says Jamie. Kevin will tell you this too. It was us who raised the kids. I just did what I was supposed to do, or felt like I needed to do. I didn't make any decisions of my own. The team of people were, I didn't make any decisions on my own. The team of people were me and my associate and Kevin. We could all take the kids to the doctor and to school. At that time, Kevin had a lot going on. And the conservatorship made sure the boys never left the house without security. They didn't go to school one day without lunch. And that's another thing about this conservatorship that people don't seem to understand. Britney, in many ways, wanted to live a regular life, and I don't blame her for that at all. Britney wanted to have the #1 song in America. She wanted to go on world tours. But also, Britney wanted to walk into the gas station with no shoes on and buy a corn dog and a Slurpee. The reality is, that's dangerous. Someone as famous as Britney couldn't be out here on the streets doing what Britney was doing. And Britney simply could not understand that. So a lot of this, Britney talking about how I couldn't have my own bank card and do this and do that. The reality is most celebrities are like that. Most celebrities aren't riding around by themselves, going to the gas station, going to In-N-Out Burger, going to McDonald's, because that's dangerous. And Britney was putting herself in danger all the time. Now, mind you, she was just trying to live a normal life, and I understand that. But Britney will never be able to live a normal life, especially back then. Britney, at the height of her popularity, out here just doing God knows what, and that was a problem. So this conservatorship, like he said, there are so many other aspects to this conservatorship, like making sure Britney's kids have security, making sure their lunch boxes are packed. It runs deep. It runs really deep. But let's go forward. The court arrangements also helped Britney rebuild her finances, Jamie says. She was reported to have been worth around $50 million in 2008 at the time the conservatorship began. However, Jamie disputes that and says that her fortune had all but gone. She was broke, he says. She had no money whatsoever. The conservatorship set a resource where she could get back financially. As you know, we worked and she got herself straight up financially. So from what Jamie is saying, Britney was broke. One thing I can tell you about online, when you look up people's net worth and stuff, that stuff is never true. In fact, when you try to research what YouTubers make, I've seen videos about how much I make. None of that information is true. So I understand what he's saying when you could look online and you might think this person's worth that, when in reality they're worth nothing. He's saying Britney was basically dead broke. But because of the conservatorship and because of that structure that was put in her life, they were able to make a fortune again. Britney's worth a lot of money right now, a lot more than she was in 2008. During the period covered by the court order, she released 4 albums, embarked on 3 world tours, and performed a 2-year residency in Las Vegas. Isn't it crazy how Britney was doing all of this stuff? And now that the conservatorship is over, it's just like, here you go, a naked photo of Britney in the bathtub. It's like, guys, let's just be honest. From the outside looking in, if you didn't know about the conservatorship at all, you would look at Britney's years under the conservatorship and you would view those as, oh, those were better years for Britney as opposed to this last year of Britney's. This last year, since she's been off the conservatorship, has been a complete and utter train wreck. It's been pathetic. It's been embarrassing. I don't even know what to call it, but let's go forward. All right. The conservatorship allowed the finances to be better, Jamie says. My understanding of a conservatorship is to help someone regain their life and return back to society and to be able to live normally. I want to say that I made a difference. There were a few people behind me that really helped bring it to a point where we could help her. But that is not how it was seen from the outside. In January 2019, Britney canceled a second planned Vegas residency and announced an indefinite work hiatus and was admitted to a psychiatric facility, claiming she was taking a little me time. Word began to spread, however, that Jamie had made the arrangements against his daughter's will. Accusations against Jamie began to trend on social media, purporting to shine a spotlight on the conditions under which Britney's life was being controlled. The Free Britney campaign claimed that the conservatorship restricted the singer's ability to use a mobile phone unmonitored, go for a walk, or see her kids. It accused Jamie of using sedatives to keep her under control, and even claimed that Britney was using secret symbols to communicate her distress to fans on social media. Yes. During the Free Britney movement, anything Britney did on social media, oh my God, Britney's wearing yellow today. This means Britney's sending us a message. And then Britney will do one of her weird little, out of date, corny ass hand dances. And then people will be like, Britney's trying to send an SOS. She needs our help. No, Britney's out of her mind and going crazy on Instagram. This is not a message. This is erratic hand movements that people do when they have an episode and pretend that they're dancing. So these same people, like I said, who were spreading these conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy about Britney, now all of a sudden they're quiet. And now they're like, oh, you're Bianon. You're a bad person for thinking something's wrong with Britney, even though for like 3 years they tried to hammer it in everyone's head there was some big conspiracy going on here. The reality is there was just a conservatorship going on, and a lot of that conspiracy stuff was bogus garbage. Let's go forward. Oh my God. The worldwide movement to end her conservatorship was heightened further by the release of the 2021 documentary Framing Britney Spears, which alleged the singer's phone and bedroom were bugged by security staff working for Jamie. Months after that documentary, Britney told the story in her own words at a legal hearing. She claimed she was afraid of her father, that she was forced to go on tour and into rehab, and to take powerful drugs. So controlled was she that she was even unable to give her birth control removed, she claimed. During this time, Jamie suffered a near-fatal rupture of his colon, became estranged from his grandsons following an incident in which he allegedly broke down a door, resulting in a restraining order, and was removed as a conservatorship and was removed as a conservator before the whole arrangement was brought to an end in November 2021. Britney's lawyer, former federal prosecutor Matthew Rosengard, referred to Mr. Spears as a reported alcoholic and gambling addict with zero financial background or experience in financial matters, who previously filed for bankruptcy and has a DV restraining order currently in effect against him. That Jamie describes it as a tough 3 years as understanding it. All I can say is that most people don't have a clue what the truth is, he says. Her lawyer does not have a clue what the truth is. The media has not heard the truth. They've heard the allegations from Britney. I don't mind taking that beating because I know it's not true, and because I don't want to start something else for my daughter to end up going further down the hole than she had already been. Jamie and Kevin are now speaking to each other once again. Indeed, Jamie has agreed to talk because he wants to help Kevin, who is writing a book on his experience of fatherhood amid such turmoil. When I spoke to the boys, they made it clear that they missed their grandfather, but the relationship with his daughter remains broken. Neither he nor the boys attended Britney's wedding to personal trainer Sam Asghari in June. Meanwhile, her behavior remains erratic. Last month, she posted a rant on Instagram claiming that during the conservatorship, it felt like my dad was trying to kill me before deleting her account. But last Tuesday, she was back on social media posting a video of herself dancing topless in the shower, wearing nothing but a red bikini bottoms. She withered around suggestively to LL Cool J's Doing It once again, proclaiming her freedom. The restraining order has now expired, but while Kevin had expressed no hard feelings towards Jamie and said he would welcome him back in the boys' lives, they know that these things take time. As Kevin told me, it should be when they feel ready, a point that Jamie too acknowledges. That's not my call right now, he says. I told Kevin I really do want to see them, and I want to be a part of them. I like to hear what's going on with them. But at this point right now, the boys have to be comfortable. And their time, it's going to happen. There's so much shit going on the outside of my relationship with the boys. Sometimes I think the boys are used as a pawn, and I ain't going to have that. The boys were part of my life for 12 years and were my closest grandkids. Jamie also suggests that he's not alone in having work to do to improve the situation. Each individual has lots of work to do. I don't know if some of them want to do the work or not. It's going to be a tough thing, but that's the goal. Like I say, family's not in good shape right now. That's all I can say. It's better, but we've got a lot of work to do. Now retired, Jamie is ever hopeful of reconciliation. He doesn't regret the conservatorship and won't be drawn on whether he thought it went on too long. I can't answer the question, he says. You can answer it yourself. Just look at how things are now. Whoa. I ain't gonna lie, Jamie ended that off kind of strongly. When they asked Jamie, the last question they asked him, do you think the conservatorship went on too long? And Jamie says, I can't answer that question. You answer that question yourself and just look at how things are going right now. Whoa. So how do you all feel about that? Obviously, I know we're going to have a mixed bag down in the comments. Some people are going to be like, I agree with the dad. Some people are going to be like, screw Jamie. And I understand that. Everyone's going to have mixed feelings here. I have mixed feelings overall. I'm not going to sympathize with Jamie. I don't like a lot of what Jamie was doing. But I agree with Jamie in the sense that someone had to do something. I agree with him that Britney would probably be dead right now if someone didn't intervene. It's just the fact that once people intervened, it seems like instead of just helping Britney, people were worried about helping themselves. Let's skim a little money off the top here and there. Let's buy a vacation home. Let's use Britney's money to do this. Let's use Britney's money to do that. So I will never feel comfortable with a lot of the things that went down during this conservatorship. But just using my common sense and being able to research, I'm able to tell that the conservatorship was not what these people made it out to be. Not at all. And it really irks my nerves that these people who went out of the way to make it seem like the conservatorship was worse than what it was, now these people are MIA. Now that Britney's free and losing her freaking mind, now that Britney is going batshit crazy every day on Instagram, these people are silent. It's just Britney expressing her freedom and stuff. Just let Britney go out there and express herself. She got to express herself. Shut up. Just shut up. Please. Anyone that wants to, it's just Britney expressing her, shut up. When do you express yourself like that? Never. Do you want to see your loved ones expressing themselves like that? No. So shut up with all of that talk. I don't want to hear it. My viewers don't want to hear it. No one wants to hear that nonsense. But I'm glad Jamie's talking. I understand what he said when he's like, it's difficult. I understand what he's saying when he's like, hey, I had to do what was best for my daughter, and I don't care what other people have to say about it. And, he's been really silent about this whole thing. He's been taking all this hate and stuff on the chin, but at the end of the day, the dude's 70-something years old. I don't think he's on social media really worried about what people are saying about him, so I don't think he necessarily cares about that aspect. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Jamie is totally innocent in this. Not one bit. But also, I feel like this is such a difficult situation because what was supposed to be done here? When we have a situation like Britney's, do we just leave that person be? Do we allow them to spiral out of control and go crazy and possibly die? Or do we intervene? I'm a live and let live type of person, kind of like a libertarian. Like, don't bother me, I don't bother you. Do what you want with your life, live how you want, and I'm gonna live how I want, and we ain't gonna bother each other. But I feel like that mentality can be bad sometimes. Like, I don't want to look at someone visibly losing their mind and going through issues in front of me and not say anything about it. And for the longest, that's how I felt with Britney. I see all of these big YouTubers encouraging and supporting this weird behavior. So even though it was unpopular, and even though I caught a lot of shit at the time and a lot of backlash, I've been here calling this out for months, and I'm going to continue to call it out. Even if it's not the popular thing to say or do. So even though I'm a live and let live type of person, it's hard to just watch someone lose their minds in front of your face without saying anything. But I kind of, it's like you reach that point where I guess, is that what is best? If you have a friend or a loved one that you know is going through a mental health crisis, is it best to just not say anything and to allow them to spiral out of control? And if you do intervene, how much do you intervene? I think the Britney stuff was taken a little too far. Yeah, maybe structure her life a little bit better. Maybe work on her finances, work on her. But there were some things that were a little too strict there. And I don't, agree with pumping people full of this medicine all the time. A lot of these medicines aren't really good for you. And sometimes people who are going through these mental health issues, they don't necessarily need these meds because it makes things worse. But then again, sometimes people get off the meds and things get worse. So it's a complicated situation. And I think the moral of the story here is that none of us know the full details. None of us know the full story of what was going on with Britney, and none of us are in that situation. We could judge and we could pick it apart, but until we're in that situation and know exactly what happened there, then in reality, maybe we're saying too much. You know what I mean? Like, it's a complicated family situation. There's a dynamic there. There's a situation that's going on there that us outsiders, we don't know the severity of the situation. Things could have been much worse than we thought. Things could have been much better. So sometimes in these situations, it's like maybe the people who were closer to Britney knew what was best. But then again, it's like when you got money involved, it always makes people feel icky because you're like, well, maybe they're just doing this because they want money. So, I mean, it's going to be a debate. It's going to be a complicated situation for the rest of history. We'll look back on this 10 years from now, and we'll still talk about whether the conservatorship should have happened or not. In my opinion, some good came out of it and some bad. And even though I don't agree with conservatorships, there's no denying that Britney's mental health has gotten worse since the conservatorship has been over. And I'm hoping that someone gets that situation together, but it's just going to continue to spiral out of control. And I'll continue to be here calling it all out. So hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I don't care if you disagree with me. I'm interested in hearing your take. Let me know down below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter. Hit that link down in the pinned comment and follow me on the Swagget app. And I'll talk to you all in the next video.